Hello everyone. Thank you so much, Toot, for the resub. Super appreciate that. Turn down the music a little bit. Of course, I do that right when the song ends. Hello Moon, hello Toot, hello Cheryl. Here, I'll give you guys what you came for right off the bat. Let's not pretend that you're here for me. It's all about how trying to eat a watermelon. And she really is trying her hardest. Hey, Quarter Stitch, welcome in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, for that. I know you're here for both of us, but heck if she isn't cute. And Early, of course, is here. What? Okay, scratchy time. Well, hello everyone. I had originally put on the schedule that we were going to finish up Deadly Aquarium together, or at least work on Deadly Aquarium. I kind of didn't take into account the fact that I hyper focused on it, and I finished it earlier today. So I was like, I could save the last 100 stitches for stream, or I could just finish it when I finished it, and that's what I did, because it's my stream and I can stream what I want to. And Toot says, yeah, no treat eat tonight, and apologies for any background coughs, sneezes. Toot is not feeling well, unfortunately, but that's okay. I have fortified her with tea, and I will make sure she gets cough medicine. Oh, heck! Bibliocat Knits? Thank you so much for the sub! Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Well, that's so sweet of you. Enjoy your emotes. Welcome to the community. I'm sure Pao would say hello, but you've been really enjoying the Cozy Cast on YouTube? Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, so next episode of the Cozy Cast will be next week, but I do have a video coming up for you guys on Wednesday, so there will be a little bit more crafty chaos. A bit of a different one for me. I had like 2 camera angles going on, so we're getting fancy up in here. Hey Des, welcome. I was just about to show you guys, so let's just push this out of the way. I'm gonna bring myself up nice and big while Pao eats her delicious watermelon. This thing is so much larger than I always think it's going to be, because I got like a fat 1/8 or a fat 1/4 and I didn't cut it. Just so it's not even really fitting into frame. Thank you so much, Des. Des says, wow. Yeah, I know, it's the colors in it are amazing. So this is Deadly Aquarium, which was the Lola Crow cross stitch Sal. The last clue, which is this crocodile buddy down here, was just released on Friday. So like if I was keeping on the quote-unquote schedule, I would have until Friday to finish it, but I kind of just I hyper focused on the crocodile and got it finished in like 3 days. Your mouth literally dropped? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Bibliocat. Thank you, Cheryl. I am so happy with this. Like, the colors, the stitching. Oh. So it comes with an index of all of the animals. So you get like, you actually learn about all of the different animals in the Deadly Aquarium and like how deadly they are compared to other things. Like these little jellyfish guys that look kind of like floating eyeballs. We found out last stream that they were only discovered in February of this year, and their exact danger level is unknown. The seagulls are moderately dangerous. And down here we have some cone snails, which are highly dangerous. But yeah, and then you got anglerfish and vampire squids, and these corals in the middle are just so vibrant. So it's actually like hurting my hands a little bit to hold it up. So yeah, so this, I started it April 21st or something like that. Like I started it a few days after the frame released. Thank you, Moon. Thank you so much. I started it a few days after the frame released, and I've been more or less keeping up. I did kind of fall behind. Sorry, Early is directly blocking me from using my frame. I did stay more or less up to date with it. I was behind for a couple of weeks there towards the end, but I feel like I finished ahead of schedule, so I'm really happy about that. Charles says conotoxins are the most toxic venom we know of. Yes, yeah. I think I remember reading that. So that was really cool because they look so small and cute, and yet. Moon says happy to live the finish through you. Yes, Moon and I started it together. Moon will finish up, I'm sure. But just other projects have taken priority, which is totally fine. The nice thing about the Lola Crow Sals is that once the pattern is fully released, it's available as the full pattern. Like you don't have to stitch it while it's there and then it disappears. You can keep stitching it as long as you want. And it will be available for purchase now through her Etsy store. So if you like the pattern and you want to stitch your own but you didn't participate in the sale, you can still get the pattern. It was fun. I honestly, I don't know if I do another mystery stitch along, because I did enjoy this and I really like the finished piece, but it isn't something I would have chosen to stitch. You know what I mean? Like if I had just seen this as a piece, I wouldn't have gone, oh, I need to make that. Hello, Gwen. Hello, hello. We're talking about Lola Crow and how I probably won't do a Sal again, but I know you can't relate. There are a couple of designers that I might be tempted by, but yeah, like I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I'm running a Sal. I am running a Sal. And Gwen says I feel much the same way with Monster House. Is definitely not my preferred vibe, but it's still fun. Thank you for reminding me, Cheryl. Yes, I am running a Sal myself. I just don't know if I would stitch one. But I'm hoping that people will enjoy my style enough to come back to my other patterns. So I have thank you, Toot, for the tiny witch command there. So yeah, if you guys want to check out the Sal, you can do it through the link that Toot just put up. I was saying in the last stream that it starts on September 26th, which feels, I keep going, oh, it's a couple months away. Oh, you bought your kit today, Quarter Stitch? Nice. Awesome. All right, yeah, because I got the message that I sold a kit earlier today, and I was like, ooh, I wonder who to. And now I know. But yeah, September 26th, like I keep going, oh, it's a couple months away, it's a couple months away, I'll be fine. It's like a couple of weeks away. Like less than 3 weeks away. No, wait, I can do math. It's more than 3 weeks away. It's about 3 weeks away. I got a knot while I was talking. I will hydrate. Toot just hydrated me. I have to fix this knot. So yeah, that part of it feels just unreal. I know Moon just got her kit as well. And she got the opalescent fabric, which I've never worked with before. So I'm like really curious because it's opalescent is the sparkly stuff, and apparently it just does not show up in pictures the way it does in person. So I'm very, very curious. I almost slipped some into our last Stitch Wit order, but I was good. I did not. Who's sparkly? One of the fabric options for the kit is either 14 or 16 count opalescent Ada, which is like a sparkly white, which I want to try. Toot says, does it come in black? It doesn't. It just comes in white. I'm so sorry. I'm sure there might be some out there somewhere that comes in black. Toot doesn't need a 310 cone of doom. She needs like a black Ada bolt of doom. Gwen says, Toot, I hope you feel better. Thank you for that. Yep. We're both just very suspect to whatever bug is flying around at the moment. Charles says, I think if there's sparkly black Ada, I wouldn't ever stitch on anything else. Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that Toot would be the same. I prefer lighter Ada. But not white. Like, I like light Ada, but colored Ada. Yeah, anyways. Like, the one that I'm working on now, it's not really a trick of the light. It is actually a very subtle kind of almost tie-dye effect. So it's like greeny blue. This is the 14 count Charles Craft, which is like it's like a collaboration line between Charles Craft and DMC. Sorry, I forgot I had to hydrate. It's a... What was I saying? It's a DMC Ada, but like the brand under DMC is Charles Craft, and the color is called Morning Dew. And I always say Mountain Dew. It's not Mountain Dew, it's Morning Dew. And I have used every single scrap of this Ada. I think I mentioned that in the Cozy Cast, that I'm using every single little piece of this, because it was a 15 by 18, and I think I've done 4 projects on it already. Like, just getting progressively smaller and smaller as I use it up. Let me move the POW cam so you guys can enjoy some prime POW action there. Carl says, stitching on black sucks, but I love how it looks. I agree. It looks so good for some patterns. And Toot says, I also love cheap Ada stiffness. When you try nice Ada, it's too soft for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I have Zweigart and it is quite soft, so I need to get it very tight in the frame, or else it's just too wibbly wobbly for me. But the brand that we use most often is Dawnman. It's like the Amazon house brand, pretty much. If you search for Ada on Amazon and you're not getting Zweigart, it's Dawnman. And it's been good to us so far. I got the Charles Craft I got at Michael's, though. And this pattern that I'm stitching is actually a shop sample. So the pattern is available in the store. All three of the stores. I made the decision when I signed up with Stitchwit that I'm only putting up my like original designs, not because I have a lot of gaming and horror movie stuff and things like that. So I made the decision that I'm going to keep those on the Etsy and the Coffee, and everything on Stitchwit is more of my own original stuff. So yeah. So some things are available on all three stores and some things are not. Also, if you like the support possums, for the moment, 2 of them are only available through the Stitchwit store. Anyways, so yeah, after I finished, I started this little piece like ages ago because I was like, oh, I need a shop sample of this. And then I finished Deadly Aquarium earlier today. And now I'm on like a, I want to finish all of the things kick. I really want to finish all of the things. Because I had told myself once I finish Deadly Aquarium, I could start my Mill Hill kit, which of course is in my drawer. I was going to show it to you and forgot to pull it out. I might pull it out on the break. I was going to start my Mill Hill kit. And now I'm like, you know what? I could probably knock out a couple of shop samples before I get started on that. And also get some more stitches in on those who wait. I don't know, I'm not project monogamous, but I do tend to focus on one project at a time. Like there are some days when I'll stitch on different projects, but usually I'm just stitching on one for like a few days in a row and then I'll switch. Unless you guys have me spinning the Wheel of Whips. And thank you, Toot, for putting up those links. I appreciate you. Well, if you guys are working on anything while you're watching, absolutely let me know. Hydrate when Toot yells at me to hydrate. And there's the Nightbot command. An idea I stole from Toot. How with the 1 foot in the watermelon? Are you making sure it doesn't run away? Maybe you're a scavenger. You don't need to hold down your food. It has root beer, peppermint vanilla tea, and a strawberry watermelon fizzy. Yum. Quarter Stitch is working on a new start, a kit called Happy Sushi. Cool. That sounds adorable. I was watching a floss tube earlier, and they were doing like a, not a whip parade, but like a kit parade of things that they have, kits that they have that they're going to make at some point in the future. And there were some pretty cute ones in there, like going back to the early 90s. Not that they bought them in the early 90s, just that the kit is from the early 90s. Moon hydrating with water. Excellent, excellent. Currently, Bibliocat Knits is currently knitting a sweater and have a tiny mouse loft kit in process. What is a mouse loft kit? And also, what sweater are you making? Please, I need all of the details. Because you said mouse loft kit, and I just imagined a little, like, tiny birdhouse that you would, like, put in the wall. As a loft for mice. And now my brain is playing the Book Mice theme song. Knitting the Uno sweater. Cool. Charles finished a few little things. And you're going to start Linger again next. Did you have to completely restart it, or are you just picking it up again? I know you had to restart. Getting tangled. I know you had to restart it before. Oh, just picking it up again. Okay, good. I was worried for you. Mouseloft makes kit for cards. Lots of Christmas, but also Halloween's and other. Okay, cool. So like paper crafting, card making stuff. That's awesome. I had a friend who was really into card making, and she would just pop them in the mail whenever she kind of thought of it. So I would just randomly get this really adorable little card. Charles says it seems to fit now. You just have to decide how deep to make the yoke. Yeah. Yeah. But at least with raglans, you can like try it on while you're going and make sure that it's deep enough. Just, I always, whenever I do that, I always kind of like tug it a little bit. And make it feel like it's longer than it is. And then I have to go back and redo it because I didn't make my yoke deep enough. The cat's current hit is a cat on a keyboard and the screen says fatal error. That sounds adorable. As you can see, I'm very familiar with cats on keyboards. This is early. Yeah, we're talking about you, baby. Okay, you're gonna turn away. Gwen says, you're confused when you say Zweigart is soft. I'm using Zweigart from Monster House to find it about as stiff as most DMC Trials craft. I find Zweigart to be softer than DMC, and much softer than the Dawn Man, which we're using. Like, yeah, I think, because this is DMC, and I would say Zweigart is about this, maybe slightly softer, but the Dawn Man is like crispy. Witch Hilt is crazy stiff, like almost painful to work with. That's good to know. I haven't tried Witch Hilt. Your Fine Frog ones, those are on some soft fabric though. Okay. And I know that dyed fabrics often end up softer just because of the dyeing process. It softens up the Ada. Thank you for the link, Bibliocat. I will definitely check those out because they sound so cute. Charles says, I'm thinking of making extra long since the photos and the pattern showed kind of extra deep. That's a good call, yeah. Definitely a good call. Because it's supposed to be like that oversized baggy vibe. Sorry, I'll move the camera early. You're not on the spot anymore. Oh, okay. Maybe on the break I'll grab Toot's latest finish, which was on the Dawn Man, and I can show you kind of how it stacks up in terms of drape with the DMC. The Mill Hill kit is on perforated paper, which I have never worked with before. That's going to be interesting. It feels really tiny, but I feel like it's going to be a much larger project than I think it's going to be. And also I'm doing it from a paper pattern, which you can sort of import paper patterns into Pattern Keeper, but it's really janky. However, I would be able to track how many stitches I do a day, so I don't know, I might do it anyways. I was experimenting with the pattern for one of my upcoming patterns is the Nevermore Raven from Just Cross Stitch. So it's from a magazine and it doesn't go right into Pattern Keeper. I need to do it. I printed a copy for myself, so. Last time I was really into cross stitch, Pattern Keeper didn't exist. And I don't know how I lived before Pattern Keeper. Toot says highlighters. So many highlighters. Highlighters, pencils, whatever we could find that was a different color. Well, guys, we've been going for about half an hour now, so I am going to send us to a little break. When we come back, I'm probably going to have to move the frame on this, and I can show you guys like how small this piece of fabric I'm working with is. So yeah, I'm gonna put up the break screen now. We're gonna go for a 3-minute break. I'm going to run 3 minutes of ads if you're watching on Twitch. If you are just hanging out on YouTube or have a sub, enjoy the background music and grab a snack, unshrimp, whatever you need to do, and I'll see you back here in 3 minutes. All right. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I didn't think my mic was close enough, and then I realized you can like see the shadow of the mic. But hi, welcome back. Moon was saying that she's so happy she started with the Pattern Keeper era. I mean, honestly, Pattern Keeper is so good. Alright, Toot has changed the vibes. We're doing no thunder and cat purring. Alright, so let's go. No thunder. And... okay, that's the cat purring. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me know if you need me to bump it up a little bit. Thunder was making you too eepy. Maybe that was my secret plan. Make you all too sleepy. The cat purring will make you eepy too. Yeah, this is what it's like sleeping next to Gigi, who is sleeping on Toot. You don't hear anything from Spirit City? Give it a second, it might... I did bump up the volume. There it is. Okay, good. I'm glad. It's hard to know. Like, I'm watching the volume levels, and I'm making sure my voice is louder than the level of whatever I'm playing, but I don't always know how much that actually works, if that makes sense. So yeah, if there is any, like, weirdness with the audio, like I'm too loud, I'm too quiet, you can't hear the music, whatever, just let me know. Dude says this is why I don't talk, then there's just one volume to worry about. Yeah, and that's easier because if it's too loud or too quiet for someone, they can just like turn the stream up or down, whereas I have to balance the two noises. Because turning the stream down will turn down all of the noises. Why do I keep doing this? Toot's talking about her own streaming. If you don't follow Toot, she streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. And just no talking streams, just playing a game. Yeah, I use it as like background for when I'm working. Sorry, I just heard the loudest thump from behind me and looked at the critter cam. God, she's mad. Okay. Give me 1 second. She says, and then no one hears me swear when a ghost hugs me or run. I fail a plate up run. Thanks, I was just about to do the Toot command. Sorry, I got distracted by Pow. Yeah, she's doing the thumps. She's very loud. She's very loud. It's a problem, to be honest. No, it's not a problem. It's just, it's hilarious because she thumps so loud that it sounds like a cat just fell off a high shelf or something. So it used to be that we get really worried every time we heard a loud thump. And then we realized it's just her slamming herself against the door. Or like wedging a piece of her furniture between herself and the door. I need to fix this string of lights that's like right here at the top. Okay. maybe you can still see her. She's gone away to the back. I think she shoved the watermelon into her hide. You just asked where the watermelon goes. Charles says watermelon demands. Bella, we don't scratch. Bella. Hit pause off the cross stitch. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I think I got way too close to the mic there. Alright, so I finished that line. So I'm gonna just finish off this thread. So this piece says, fire within me, air above me, water around me, earth beneath me, which is partially a pretty common pagan meditation, or just general spiritual meditation. I use it a lot when I'm praying to kind of ground myself. However, usually it's only 3 things, and the version that I use is definitely not based on a kids' TV show from the 90s, where this is what they would say to transform into their Power Ranger-like states. Definitely not. And if anyone knows Mystic Knights of Tir Nog, please chime in on this. It says the Misty Knights to Timmy the Knob. Yep. Please chime in on this, because sometimes I feel like it was just a fever dream. Bella's here, by the way. You guys can just see her little snoot. Early is sleeping with her chin on my floss box. Bella, Daddy's doing a thing that isn't loving you. I know, illegal. Illegal. Charles says, I think I'm too old. Maybe. Like, I feel like it was a very, like, specific time frame of, like, 1 year where you had to be the right age. So yeah, so you can see the mock-up in the little project box. I really wanted it to do it on this piece of Ada, but I knew it was going to be really super tight. So this line is the widest line. So I did it first, and I stitched the very top row from one side to the other to make sure that it was going to fit before I got further in. So yeah, look at my margins. That is exactly 3 stitches away from the edge and 4 stitches away from this edge. So I'm probably going to finish it as like a wall hanging though, so just kind of flip up the top like that and then hang it from like a bar or something. So I'm not super worried about that because I'll finish it. Toot says, I love that Pat waited until the camera was off for a few minutes to try and hide her leftovers. Yeah. So what I was saying about the Ada. So this is Charles Craft, and it's quite like if I hold it up, it flips over. This is Toot's latest finish. It's by Black Walt Stitching. It's super cute. But this is the Dawn Man. And it stands on its own. It's very stiff. Like I can't make this one do that. Like even if, yeah. Like it just. So that's kind of like this is Toot's standard of stiffness, and so anything less than this is soft. Also, how cute is this? Like, perfect Toot vibes. Hi, Bella. Bye, Bella. I love black walt stitching. We just discovered them. I don't have like a link ready to hand, but you can check them out on Coffee. They've got a few little freebies up and stuff. So yeah, like them. See what Pow is up to. Oh, she's just going into her hide with her watermelon. Alright, bye Pow. Night-night. Ah, what did I do? Okay, there we go. If I accidentally minimize the window with Pow in it, it just like turns off in OBS. You guys can't see her anymore. So this is Spooky Cozy. I'm gonna tuck it right here where it'll be safe from cats. I need to move the frame on this. I think I'm gonna go down. Because this is like the third thing. Oh, thank you, Quarter Stitch. Quarter Stitch has such a cute finish, Toot. And yeah, I agree. It's freaking adorable. Usually I do this on a flat surface, but if I move my keyboard, Riley will sleep here. So let's see if I can just like do the keyboard sideways. And then this is why I prefer frames, because you don't need to do them on a flat surface. I just find hoops like a lot more fiddly to get the tension right. But I didn't have any frames free when I started working on this. I think Toot was using the 6-incher. Although the 6-inch one is free and in my desk, so I don't know why I'm still using hoop. Oh, do you guys want to know a fun fact that Moon discovered that blew her mind? So, for hoops, you kind of have to... The thing with hoops is that they rely on the springy properties of wood to keep you, to keep the fabric taut. And you tighten them with this little thingy here. So you hold the nut and twist the bolt. Most hoops, let's see if I can show you this. You see that there's a little space for a Phillips head screwdriver? Or, yeah. That's to help you screw it tight. So if you're having trouble like doing this, you can use a pair of pliers to clamp this and a screwdriver. And I know some people do that before when they frame stuff, just to make sure that it stays nice and tight. Toot says it's only free until our Stitch Wit comes in. Yeah, that's right. She says I need a little wrench to hold the nut, which I don't have. Yeah. I'd probably use pliers just because it's so tiny and I hate wrenches. If I need to like move something, I will 9 times out of 10 go for the pliers. This little piece is, it's only 962 stitches altogether. And I've done 264. So like just about a quarter of the stitches, which makes sense because I've done 1 out of the 4 lines. And then there's backstitch lettering, which of course doesn't show up in Pattern Keeper. Oh yeah, and I grabbed out my mill hill to show you guys. So this is the little mill hill that I'm going to start in the next few days. Moon bought me this at their local needlework shop. So I've never used... So this is the perforated paper down there. And like, it looks like that's just the size of it. So I feel like this is going to be small. There are voices in the lo-fi, yes, Toot. I can switch the playlist if you'd like to non-voices. I had this playlist going while I was watching Toot play Phasmophobia, and I heard like the distant faraway voices, and I went and said that she got spirit box evidence, and I was like, wait a second. All right, let's pull up. All right, I just switched the music, so that should have no voices, I think. Okay. It is paper, potato shoe. It's like really thick cardstock, so it's not, but it is like, it's just thick paper. And it's got a little tiny like moon charm here, and there's beads. I've never done beading before, so yeah. Let's see. Finish size 36 wide by 42 high. So it's just a little guy, just a little handsome guy. But yeah, I've never done a mill hill. I've never worked on perforated paper. I've never beaded, so this should be interesting. So I'm gonna get that started maybe tomorrow. Like, I feel like I need to be in a place where I can like focus on it. I don't think this is gonna be one of those like stitch while I'm watching TV type projects. And then the one after that, it's either gonna be a piece by Heather from Stitchwit. Heather just sent out her latest newsletter, and she always includes like a freebie in it, and one of them is super cute. It says hello fall, but the word fall is like in a plaid pattern, so I might be stitching that one before I get to this next one. But this is Nevermore. I'm kind of covering this up, so yeah, this is a printout from a magazine. If you aren't aware, your local library might have cross-stitch patterns or cross-stitch magazines that you can borrow digitally, so check those out. That's what I do. This is from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2024. Yep, and you can just save the pages as PDF. Because you're saving an image as a PDF, it doesn't go into Pattern Keeper, which is why I printed it. And I'll go old school with the highlighter. I also have to figure out what colors I'm going to do it, because I'm going to do it on black, so obviously I can't do the raven in black. So I just need to switch things up a little bit. And thank you, Toot, for doing the link to Heather. But yeah, Heather offers free patterns weekly, so if you aren't subscribed to the newsletter, it's a good idea to do that. Not every one of her patterns are like, oh, I need to make this now, but that hello fall pattern, as soon as I saw it, it was definitely a, I need to make this. So, and I think I have the perfect Ada for it too. We'll see. We'll see how impatient I am, because I'm doing the Mill Hill. I've got Mill Hill and Nevermore, and then I'm doing Dinosaur Forest. So once I get through the two small ones, I might really want to start Dinosaur Forest, so we'll see. We'll see. Thank you for the hydrate, Toot. Thank you for the possums. But yeah, like I said, I really want to finish a bunch of stuff. So I don't even know if I'm going to start the Mill Hill tomorrow. I might... Like, I can probably finish this guy tomorrow. And then I've got another shop sample. Very demure. Well, thank you, Gwen, for using the Mystic command there. So that's the link to the pattern, if you guys are interested. Yeah, my other shop sample I'm working on is the Very Demure, Very Mindful one. which ended up being a lot more stitches than I thought it was going to be, so I'm just kind of like ignoring it for the moment. Gwen was trying to figure out what show it totally isn't a quote from. It's totally not a quote from Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog, which is a show that really no one remembers except me, I'm pretty sure. But it was like ancient Irish Power Rangers. It was actually like surprisingly good. And by good, I mean it was surprisingly accurate to Irish folklore. It was not a good show. It was about as good a show as Power Rangers was. So that'll tell you the level of quality we're here. Now I need to get it says the Mr. Knight of Tommy Tiernan. Yeah, pretty much. But basically it was like this group of people. One is the wizard's apprentice, one is the princess, one is like the bumbling commoner, and one is the prince from across the sea, the token black character. And then if they like say earth beneath me, they transform into the Mystic Knights and have like magic armor and stuff. It's the entire series is available on YouTube, and I will admit that I have watched a few episodes recently. The quality is horrendous because, as you can probably guess, this show never made it to DVD. It barely made it to like VHS. But I loved it. I loved it so much. Oh, they're also given their powers by the King of the Leprechauns, so that was a whole side thing. So like that's what I knew this chant or this I don't want to say mantra because that's like specific to a certain tradition, but this kind of like repetitive meditative thing. That's where I knew this from, and then to my surprise, I found that people in like the witchy spaces were using it as a version of it as well. And I was like, really? That's cool. Toot is asking if Brian Michael Hamby is the King of the Leprechauns. Yes, he is. Yes, that is who I meant. Carl says I could rent the VHS, but I don't have a VHS player anymore. I don't think anyone has a VHS player anymore. There were action figures too. I never got one when I was a kid, but I have seen pictures of them, so I know they existed at one point. I might drop the link to the Mystic Knights like full series video on YouTube so you guys can enjoy the terrible kids television. A song that I didn't realize lived rent-free in my head is the theme song to the X-Men cartoon from the 90s. But I was watching someone and someone mentioned it, and like the second he mentioned it, my brain started singing. I'm like, what? One says, you mentioned earlier, yeah, you're in and out cooking. Your entire mojo for batch cooking from the week hit you right before stream. Bibliocat says, I think we have one in our university library. The students pull amazing faces at them. Also, I had to stop a coworker from demagnetizing one. Oh no. Porter's Stitch has a VHS. They're keeping it for the DVD player it's attached to. When I don't know how you have to drain no oil. I'm not the person to talk to about frying stuff. I think Toot sent me a TikTok of someone who was dealing with like an actual factual floppy disk and without thinking dropped it on a magnet. Like they had a tablet case with the magnet that he keeps it closed, and without thinking just put it down, and of course erased the floppy disk because we haven't thought of that since the 90s. Charles says you have so many food problems. I know. Poor Gwen seems so unlucky in food. And also haven't seen a floppy in 20 years. Yeah. Remember when it was 3.14 megabytes, right? That was how much you could fit on a floppy disk. I remember being so happy the day I discovered I could fit one Great Big Sea Song that I got off of LimeWire that wasn't a virus onto a floppy disk. Bibliocat says we also have microfilm and fiche. Explaining how to use that is so much fun. I used to use that all the time in high school, but then again, high school for me was the early 2000s. At the library to research stuff. Charles says I miss microfiche. It was just fun. It was fun. You felt like you were like diving into the past or being a detective or something. I went through a kick where I was like really into art. And so I went to the reference library, the Toronto Reference Library, which is a huge library that is pretty much just, there's a little bit of fiction, but it's mostly nonfiction. And I just sat and went through like microfiche or microfilm or microfiche, I'm not sure which one, of like art pieces for hours. Early is currently sleeping on my keyboard. I'll show you guys this. She's too cute. No, she's away from the escape key. She might accidentally do a screen capture from where she's at. Also, I'm kind of proud of this pattern. I know it looks a little simple, but I did this alphabet from scratch. Like, I was looking at some art references for it, but I didn't copy it pixel by pixel from anywhere. I did it myself, and it was the first alphabet that I had really done like that, and I was pretty proud of that. But I wanted to do the Celtic alphabet because for me, it's got this complete connection with Irish folklore. Charles says it looks good. Fonts are hard. Thank you. Yeah, they are. Gizm from Raven Coven released a free Gothic font chart, and like I'm trying to rechart it into WinStitch so I can use it like as one of their stampy fonts. And it's so intricate. I don't think I could do it. But I like the goth one is going to be kind of an exception for me, but at the same time it was made by a friend, so I don't feel that bad about using it. But I don't like using the pre-made fonts. I like making all of my own fonts. But that's hard sometimes. Because you have to make up, there's what, 26 letters in the alphabet? And then you need to do upper and lowercase, and then numbers, and then punctuation. I'm like, what is the word for the class of things that exclamation points are in? Punctuation. Special characters, yeah, that's another good word for it. You ever just really craving something and then you have it and it just like hits? That's me with that Diet Pepsi right now. Not that there's anything in it. It's just Diet Pepsi. It just tastes really heckin' good. I might share a picture in the server. I was cleaning the kitchen today. I love cleaning the kitchen. It's one of my favorite jobs around the house. I don't know why. But I did like some cleaning and some tidying and some reorganization, and our little like coffee drink area got all tidied up, and it just looks really good. I still need to clean out one particular cabinet. If I call it a cupboard, I don't even know how to pronounce the word anymore. If I call it a cupboard, Mac's gonna get mad at me. Quarters says you got Arby's. So jealous. We have Arby's in Canada, but there is no Arby's near us that will deliver to us. The nearest Arby's is 2 towns away and like a half-hour drive. However, when I can drive again, the Arby's is fairly close to the local needlework shop, which is also a local yarn store, which is also in the same plaza as the Wishy shop, which is very close to the Dollar Tree and the Spirit Halloween. Oh. You have frozen Arby's fries in the freezer? Like, did you get those at the grocery store? Just the bags of like curly fries? Sounds amazing. We have like McCain's spicy curly fries, but they're not the same. I have to check next time we go in and see if they actually have them here. That does sound amazing, though. We made chicken soup in the crock pot for dinner tonight. Chicken soup with dumplings. It was very good. And it didn't make a ton. That's the problem with crockpot meals, is it's just the two of us. And most crockpot meals are meant to feed like a large family with lots of leftovers. So we've been trying to like make smaller crockpot meals. And this one made 2 servings for us for dinner and then 1 serving of leftovers, which is, it's good. It's good for us. I really enjoy cooking. I'm glad that I'm getting more energy back to be able to cook, because it is something that I have missed. I just wish my energy wasn't so hit or miss. Because, like, we can't really make a meal plan day by day. Like, we can't say, like, oh, on Monday we're gonna have this, on Tuesday we're gonna have this. Because I don't know until that day if I'm able to make it. Carl says I miss cooking, can't do it anymore because of my joints. I feel you. I couldn't cook for a while. We were kind of living on freezer meals for a long time. Like freezer meals and things I could throw in the microwave and ramen. I'm really glad that I'm able to get back to that. But sorry you're not. I hope you can find some joint relief. I like the crock pot because I can usually prep stuff ahead of time. And then when it comes time, I can just eat it in. The thing is, I have to like think ahead, because most crock pot meals need to go for like 6 or 8 hours. So if I want to have it for dinner, I need to put it in at like 10 a.m. So that requires a bit of forethought that I don't always have. Charles says I just need like 40k to build an accessible kitchen. Oh god. I would love an accessible everything. We keep our walker. It was my walker, but it's probably going to be Toot's now, because I'm needing it less and less and less. We keep it right by the kitchen so we can like wheel it into the kitchen if we need to sit at the stove. It's the exact right height. We a while ago we were talking, like years ago, we were talking about how we should probably get like some kind of like bar stool or something to go in the kitchens for sitting while cooking. And we were talking about it and like looking at ones, we couldn't really find one that we liked. And then like a week later I was taking garbage out to the dumpster outside of our building, and there was like a bar stool sitting next to the dumpster. So I grabbed it and brought it up, and we called it Trash Stool. Like that was its proper name with capitals. Trash Stool served us well for quite a few months until he finally grew too unstable and he had to go back from whence he came. The walker is much more stable. Yeah, we tend to name most things we bring into our lives. One says me, spends nearly 2 hours cooking. Also me. Eats an ice cream cone before dinner is done. Relatable. Like, I knew that there was chicken soup in the crock pot and we're gonna eat in like 15 minutes. And I was still going, I have chips in my drawer. Maybe I'll have some chips. On groceries, I tried the Great Value, like the Walmart Oreos basically, but it's a chocolate salted caramel flavor. They are quite good. I very much enjoy them. They're not overly sweet, which I like. I love cookies and candy, but I don't like things that are way too sweet. Self. Dinner is so close to being done, but like 10 minutes ago you're like, frick, I'm hungry. I mean, eat when your body tells you to eat. Fun fact, Oreos and Ritz crackers are vegan. They are. You don't have to get special ones. The Oreo cookies are already vegan. And the Ritz are already vegan. Oreo also does gluten-free, which are pretty tasty. Mine was mind blown by the Ritz because they feel buttery. Yeah, that's right. They do feel like there should be some butter in there or something. But maybe it's just like some kind of vegetable oil, perhaps? Margarine? Yeah, Toot's been eating a lot of Ritz crackers with peanut butter. The like little pre-packed ones, so I don't have to get my hands dirty with peanut butter. It's great. I mean, for Toot I would, but it's great that I don't have to. Our local zoo actually takes donations of almost finished jars of peanut butter. You know when they get like down to the point where you kind of have to like get in there and scrape the sides, and so our local zoo will take those from people and give them to the gorillas, because if you give a gorilla an almost empty jar of peanut butter and like some celery or a carrot or something, they'll actually sit there and like scrape the peanut butter out of the jar to eat it. It's enrichment. Gorillas and orangutans are heckin' smart. One of the orangutans at our local zoo managed to get out of his enclosure. The zoo was like, yeah, he was spotted outside of his enclosure, so we evacuated the area just in case. He's back inside now. But we were closing it until we review the security footage and find out what happened. Because this is the same troop of orangutans. They're indoor enclosure. So this was from their outdoor enclosure, which is new. Their indoor enclosure, one side of it is like a glass wall so people can watch, and then the open side of it is like this wide moat that they can't swim across, and then a wall. So they can't swim across the moat. However, one of their toys were these large buckets, which they figured out they could float across the moat with. So all of their buckets had holes in them so that they wouldn't escape across the moat again. They're so smart. I just talked about orangutans too much. I need to drink. Orangutans are a smart bucket escapee. Orangutans escape buckets, yeah. They use buckets to escape their enclosure. They made them into boats and floated across their moat so they could get out. Thank you for the hydrate, Toot. Well, they gave them, like, these big rubber buckets to play with. Like, a couple of them are, like, big enough to be, like, pools for them. They didn't think that they were going to use them to get out. One summer when it was really, really hot out. So in their enclosure, there's a big, like, air conditioning fan type thing. I think I just have a knot. There's like a big air conditioning fan. Like, they can't get at it, but it blows up onto a platform above it. And the orangutans would take a blanket, soak it in their, like, water soaking bucket dish tub. They would soak it, and then they would lay on top of where the fan came out, covered in the blanket, to make themselves like a swamp cooler, which is just so smart. I feel like at that point it ceases to be a bucket. Okay, a tub. Yeah, man, animals are cool. There's one species of heron. I just found this out the other day because we were watching a Clint's Reptile video. I don't know why I went with bucket instead of tub, but more like a tub. There's a species of heron that fishes. So it eats fish. So what it does is it takes like a little bit of like a stick or a little bit of crust of bread or something like that, and it throws it out into the water and waits for a fish to come and grab it, and then it eats the fish. And it's like it's fishing with bait. They've figured out what bait does. I thought that was stinking rad. Oh my god, this Ripley fabric is not the business. I might have to use that 6-inch frame until the Stitchwood order comes in. I mean, it's my own fault for using such a skinny piece of Ada, but I really wanted it on this fabric. Like, I like this fabric for doing shop samples on because it's a little bit colorful, but it's also subtle enough that it's not gonna take away from the design. Might see if I can pick up some more in maybe a different color. You're using a different colorway of that fabric for your wham. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. Even though it's full coverage. Well, it probably makes it more enjoyable to stitch on because you've got pretty colors. Shoe says, I've been trying to figure out a way to increase the friction without wrecking the Ada. The Ada, with a wash and like a lay flat, it'll bounce back pretty easily. What I usually do with a hoop is I'll put it like this one is just not staying, but I'll put it down like that and then press the hoop down while I pull the corners out. Because the Ada itself, the Ada's cotton, it'll bounce back. You know, cotton has very little memory. Glenn says, I haven't decided how it's going to be framed, so I thought if I frame it in a square, I'd have something nice around it. I do have felt. I could use that, because I use felt to give more grips to my frames. Thanks for the suggestion, Gwen. I think I'm just going to deal with it for the rest of stream, and then I'll figure out some other way to finish this. Because like I said, this shouldn't take me more than another day or two, because I am locked in on finishing it. I've been having to do that every few stitches. It's getting on your nerves. Ugh. I know. It could be so annoying. But yeah, like Gwen said, a bit of felt might work. Toot also uses, if you don't have felt, just like folded up paper towel. Just something to give the frame a bit more tension. Why do I keep yanking this thread off the needle? But the tension issue is a big reason why I switched to using the Q-snaps instead of hoops. Because if you start getting loose tension, you can just like twist the snappies back and it goes tight again. Twist the snappies back and it goes tight again. Those were the words that I said to describe an action. You do have paper towels. You also gave in and ordered a 6-inch Q-snap. Yay, welcome to the Q-snap fold. Worried your hands won't be strong enough, but you're going to give it a try. They aren't really that difficult to snap into place. And they actually might be better because the bar is quite a bit thicker. Give me one sec. I'm muted. I am muted. I am talking. Hi. So this is a 6-inch Q-snap. And as you can see, the snappies move quite freely, and you can slide them off, or you can push them off on either side like that, and they just kind of snap back into place like that. So they don't take that much force to use, and also they might be easier for your hand, because like holding a hoop like this, you have to grip quite a bit smaller, whereas this is larger. It's easier to hold on to for me. And you can see this is one reason that I love Q-snaps. They're square and cross stitch is square. It makes my brain happy. I don't know why. But yeah, like sliding it off like that is usually really easy. And if you put the paper towel, so like you would go, you'd have the Ada like this, and then I don't have any felt near me. Let's pretend this is felt or something. You would go like this, and then you'd snappy over that. And then, yeah, because this is really smooth, you can still just slide it off. It gets a little bit tricky when you get right to the corner, but you can just kind of wiggle it and ease it off. I wouldn't slide it if it's directly against the stitches because it might catch the corner of a stitch and pull it. But if you've got something between the grip and your stitches, sliding it shouldn't be a problem. Just, you know, be careful as with anything. But yeah. I didn't realize those clicks were picking up, and now I'm just I was stimming with that a little bit. So yeah, and a couple more tricks. So like it'll be like this, and then the fabric will be taut, and as it loosens as you're stitching, these will twist inwards, and all you have to do to get the fabric taut again is twist them back outwards. And like if you get to the point where like these are twisted all the way around, then you kind of have to reseat the fabric, but generally just kind of twisting them back flat will make your fabric taut again. And these grips, if they start getting really loose and like sliding around very easily, if you drop them in a pot of boiling water for a few minutes, it shrinks the plastic, so they kind of they get smaller, so they grip more. But of course, do that carefully. You don't want to destroy them. All right. So now that I've done that whole spiel, it's time for us to go for a break. So I'm going to put up the break screen. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to send you all the way to ads and go unshrimp. I think Gwen might be dropping her Q-snap grips in a pot of boiling water, and I will see you in 3 minutes. All right. Okay, we're back. And to let me borrow the 6-inch Q snap for this one. So I was putting it back together, and then I'm like, I might as well show you guys how I do it. So as you can see, this is like the same width as the Q snap. I'll show you how I deal with that. But basically, I usually brace it against my stomach to get some tension there. And then I like to put the snap on facing upwards. Just push it down into place. And then I'll do the opposite side next. If I have a lot of extra fabric, if I have enough extra fabric that I can fold it in half or maybe thirds, and keep it out of the way, I'll just do that and put that, the whole thing, folded thing, under the Q snap. Just checking to make sure I wasn't muted still. So again, I'll do it facing towards me. And like you can see that it's kind of like got a divot in there. And the reason that I do that is so I have more room to pull it taut. So loose, tight. And then if you're in a situation like I am, where I'm like right up against the edge here, so if I put on the clamp, it probably wouldn't do anything. I use a little bit of felt in this case. So it is going to be difficult because I'm stitching right next to the edge. So I put the felt up there. And then I just do the same thing. The felt kind of gives the fabric a little more grip, because the cotton will want to stick to the felt more than it'll want to stick to the plastic. So you just have to like play with it a little bit. But yeah, so that's how I do it. And then my fabric is nice and drum tight. And it'll stay pretty tight. It might get a little bit loose around the sides just because I'm like right up against there with the fabric. But that's a problem for this specific pattern. And yeah, it's just nice and easy to hold. Maybe you'll want to stitch more when you get it. Charles, honestly, having the right tools makes all the difference. I had those who wait in the large U-snap, the 11 by 11 inch, and I just wasn't working on it because the tools weren't right. It was bulky, it was awkward. It wasn't a pleasurable experience. Already I'm enjoying this so much more. Like, there are some things that you kind of power through, but if you can make your stitching or any crafting experience easier, definitely you go for it. Monkey was doing a cute sleep, and I think the drumming woke her up. She did the I'm awake and I am loud now thing. Aw. Hi, Monkey. Monkey! Psst, 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 psst. Monkey! I'm just messing with your cats now. Earls knows her name. Let's see. She's a good Earls. Whoop. Smacked her in the face with my... There she is. We got an Earls. He's just my little buddy. Earlier, I think she was sleeping under the bed because you couldn't find her. Cats do that, man. Like, they just disappear, and then you're searching the house frantically for them, and then they come strolling out of a room that you checked like 4 times. Like, hey guys, what's up? One thing I found, sorry, circling back, because brain, circling back to finding tools that make things easier for you. one change that I made at the suggestion of Moon's local needlework store was trying a smaller needle. So I kind of thought that like a bigger needle would be easier on my hands because it was, you know, bigger, easier to hold. But smaller needles go through the fabric more easily. So you're applying less pressure on every stitch. And I mean, that's hugely subjective. That's very, your mileage may vary, but switching to smaller needles really helped me. I was using a size 18 and then I switched to a 24, which I know means very little to most people, but it's a pretty big difference. Right, I think I've gotten enough out of this thread. The biggest you ever used is a 24? Alright, then you're probably good there. You think is your favorite size? Yeah. I think 24 has become my favorite size. That's what this is. I forgot to put my needle minder back on. Back. Go. The smaller ones are pokey. Yeah, that was the thing. I tried a 28 and it was too pokey. I have the pages of my needle book labeled so I don't lose them. So 24 is my most used size, which is why I only have 3 of them left. I have 26s, which are just slightly too small for me. 22s, which are okay if I'm working on 14 count. The ones that I used to use are 18s, which are these. So just as a size comparison, I'm going to put them up against this green so maybe you can see. So this is the one I used to use, and this is the one I'm using now. And it has really made a huge difference. Yes, chunky boys. Chunky boys. Chunky boys. Toot says, I am such a crafting boomer and it cracks me up every time. I don't pay attention to needle size. I only do one piece at a time. Moving to Q-snaps and PK was a struggle. And use paper towel instead of felt because that's what I used on my hoops. I just want to do things the way I always have. Whereas DH loves finding new techniques and tools. Yeah, I do. I like learning new things and trying new things. But honestly, Toot's methods work really well. We had a bit of a kerfuffle about floss storage methods, but bobbins is really the one true way. I think the bigger one looks like what I'd use on a knitting project. Yeah, I was using the same thing. And wondering why I was struggling so much getting the needle through the fabric. Self. No, it is so funny because we indoctrinated Moon into the cross stitch cult, right? And Moon is like me and wants to learn everything there is to learn about a craft as soon about a topic as soon as they get into it. Where did my snips go? Hey, are you laying on my snips? So Moon was like, she would watch a video and then ask us like, oh, do you stitch English or Danish style? And Toot's like, I stitched the right way. And then Moon would be like, oh, do you railroad? And Toot's like, I stitched the right way. The Moon was learning all of like these new techniques and these new terms for everything. And we're just like doing our own thing as we always did. It was so funny. And then I started getting really into floss tube as well, which is just a danger zone. And I shouldn't say Toot was saying the right way. It was more like, I do it the way that I do it. Like, that's just the way I do it. Charles says, I can't remember the names of the styles. The only reason I remember the names of the styles is I knit English, but I stitch Danish, or I used to stitch mostly Danish. Now I stitch mostly English. Gwen says, I saw a floss storage method that combines drops and bobbins, and it looks so slick. Oh, yeah. The Atomic Heart floss drop bobbins. Girl, I had such a mighty need for those, and then I saw the price tag. Your brother has a 3D printer and could probably make you a bunch of drops bobbins, like what you saw in the video. But I also don't want to go in and rebobbin all of my floss. Yep. Yep, I feel that. I feel that very hard. Charles says, I pick a color and stitch a strand of that and then repeat. I do tend to try for color completion, at least in the section that I'm stitching. Yeah, but like as Toot said, floss drops are not, they are not the way for us because we have 427 cats, and they would inevitably get into any kind of floss situation. So bobbins are the way to go in closed storage boxes. Cheryl says, I get bored if I try to do all of one color. I don't know, I think it's kind of satisfying. But also, yeah, I can definitely see where the where it could get monotonous. I still don't know how Toot managed to do that entire Freddy Fazbear piece in one color of glow-in-the-dark floss. Jensen Angel, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. She says the flavor of the floss kept them going. Yep. Tasty, tasty floss. There's so much stuff I want to do with glow in the dark. How do I keep Toot from eating the floss? I have to catch her, and then like you pinch the side of her jaws to like force her mouth open, and then you just pull out the floss. God, we're weird. What was I saying? Glow in the dark floss. Ah! I just got pelted with a snack. Ow. Gigi, it's not for you. Toot threw that at me, and Gigi is chasing it like she just threw a sparkle ball or something. I like glow-in-the-dark floss because it looks identical to white floss when stitched. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. I really want to design... Hi, Gigi boy. Did you want to be on the cameras? Okay, hi. There's a handsome man. Where are you going, handsome man? Keep walking. No, do not. Yeah, so I used to keep a bag of treats over here in these drawers. Gigi found that out and then figured out how to open the drawer. So now he thinks that if he keeps coming over here, there'll be more treats in the drawers. There are not. Charles says, I love glow in the dark and rainbows. yeah, that is also Toot's aesthetic, glow in the dark and rainbows. But what I was saying was I really want to do a piece. So if you've ever watched Phasmophobia and you've seen, there's a map called Point Hope, and it's a lighthouse. And there's this whole little secret thing where if you like do all these like steps in order, you see these ghosts floating around the lighthouse. It's so cool. But you can only see them with the UV light. And I would love to do like, it looks like just a normal peaceful lighthouse piece. And then, but I'd have like clouds and like the white of the lighthouse and do the floating bodies in the glow in the dark. I think that would be really cool. Oh no. Okay, I have to do this right away for Toot. Point Hope. Cheryl says that sounds cool, and Gwen says that sounds dope. Yeah. And also, there's not very many Phasmophobia cross-stitch patterns. Like I've only looked on Etsy. I don't know what other source for fandom cross-stitch there are. But there aren't a lot of Phasmophobia ones. And thank you for that, Toot. Yes, if you enjoy Phasmophobia or you're curious about the game, Toot plays it Monday and Friday, and then this Wednesday is going to be Played Up, which is like a restaurant management game. It's so much fun. And Toot's like really freakishly good at it. Like she knows this game inside and out and can automate, and it's really impressive to watch her play. Anyway, Quinn says there's not a whole lot of Stargate patterns. Cough cough, hint hint. Alright, I will take that under advisement. You might watch the Wednesday one if you're awake. It's 8 a.m. here though. Absolutely no pressure for anyone to join. I know it's either early or late for some people. And there's always the VOD replays if you want to watch some cool game footage. Gigi is just like, I don't think I can get him on the webcam without destroying my setup. He's curled up like right over there on the edge of my desk like he's expecting treats. I think I mentioned this in the server, but I kind of gave myself the day off from the Cozy DH. And when I say that, like, the Cozy DH is, like, I don't even want to call it a business, but it's like the streams and the Etsy store and the designs and everything. Like, I consider that as like the Cozy DH, whereas I'm DH and I'm also Cozy, if that makes sense. So I gave myself a break from the Cozy DH stuff, except stream today. But I really want to hit the ground running on designs tomorrow because I have so many cool ideas. Cheryl says I did check to see if I could spend points to summon Cat. No, you can't because there are no more treats in my desk. I need to figure out I think I have like a tin around here or something that I can use for them. Something that'll be, you know, little tiny cat teeth proof. And there will be a shop update this week for sure, because I've got a few patterns that I have like pretty much ready to go. They do eat my aluminum needles. I'm hoping that the tin they won't be able to get their mouths around. You know what I mean? You're so right, Toot. Early's like, I'll just sleep here, out of the way. I'm so sweet and cute. And Gigi's like, coming through, out of my way, give treats. Yeah, you're a big handsome chonk man, aren't you? What are we gonna do with him? That's true. So one Easter, we made a horrible mistake. And we put cat treats inside those like plastic Easter eggs. And then we gave them to the children for, you know, enrichment. So Gigi learned how to open the egg. But then he also learned that anything vaguely egg-shaped contains treats. And that if he tries hard enough, he can pop it open. So that's what he did with anything that was vaguely egg-shaped, including a watermelon. He tried to stuff an entire watermelon into his mouth in case it contained treats. Isn't that right, my son? Okay, let's see. Nah, you can just get the very edge of his tail on the camera there. I don't think he does like watermelon. No. He's still tried to get it open. He loves seaweed though, like roasted seaweed snacks or nori. Loves that. Dude says what he likes is being a problem. Yup. That's my son. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. I don't know what I'm gonna do with any of them, really. I'm cracking up because this is such a much more pleasant stitching experience than it was in the hoop. And I don't know why I didn't think of using the 6-inch earlier, because it wasn't in use. I'm silly. So I'm gonna try and get some more stitching in on this. You'll probably see a finish of it up in the Discord in the next couple of days. But for this evening, I think that's where we're gonna wrap up stream. Ben says silly DH. I know what's good for me, and I don't do it anyways. But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna wrap up stream, so I just have to stop stitching self. I'm gonna put up the ending screen. Alright, my friends. So Toot is putting a bunch of links in the chats. It's got everything everywhere you need to everywhere you can follow us on socials. I did just post a couple of TikToks, so if you like the short form stuff, you can check those out on TikTok or YouTube. Next YouTube video is going to be Wednesday. Next stream is going to be Friday, both at 6:30. And Friday we are spinning the wheel of whips. I know you guys love whip wheel streams, so we're doing a whip wheel stream on Friday. So that'll be 6:30 on both Twitch and YouTube. Please check out all the links in the link tree, including all the links to Stitchwit and Coffee, which have all my patterns. The September free cross stitch pattern is now in the coffee shop, so if you want a cute little bookmark of a cat getting ready for spooky season, it's there for you. If you haven't already followed Toot, you should probably go follow Toot. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. This was a lovely chill stream. I had so much fun. The cats enjoyed themselves. Pow enjoyed herself. Yeah, we just had a really good night. Sue, I don't have YouTube open to be able to turn YouTube off. Please hold. Okay, alright, now I can. Alright, so everybody on Twitch say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube say goodbye to everybody on Twitch. Bye, YouTube. Bye-bye. 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 Bye, YouTube. Bye.